2 weeks later. Year the 15th of April, 19. Alan and Maria, weary from their journey, approached the towering stone walls of Aviana, the capital city of the Corvus Kingdom. The city gates loomed before them, guarded by stern-faced sentinels. The siblings' tattered clothes and exhausted appearance did not go unnoticed, and the guards eyed them suspiciously. Feeling a knot form in his stomach, 10-year-old Alan couldn't help but wonder if they had made a mistake coming here. Maria, his older sister by 2 years, had to keep her magical abilities hidden. As they drew closer to the gates, the guards stepped forward, blocking their path. Alan swallowed hard, his heart racing with fear. This was it, the moment of truth. Would they be allowed into the city or turned away like so many times before? "State your business here," one of the guards barked, eyeing them suspiciously. "We're just passing through," Alan replied, trying to keep his voice steady despite his fear. The guards exchanged a look before turning back to the siblings. "We'll need to search you for any magic items," the second guard said, his hand already reaching for Alan's bag. "We don't have any magic items," Maria protested, stepping forward to shield her brother. The guards ignored her and began roughly searching through their bags and pockets. Despite finding nothing, they still eyed the siblings suspiciously. Just as the situation was about to escalate, a tall man with black hair and a twisted moustache appeared at the gate. He wore a dragon emblem on his chest, which caught Maria's eye, and she moved to stand protectively in front of her brother. "What's going on here?" the man asked in a deep, commanding voice. "These two are outsiders with blue eyes," the first guard replied, still eyeing Alan and Maria warily. The man's eyes flicked over to the siblings, and for a moment, Alan thought he saw recognition in them. "I know these children," the man said, turning back to the guards. "They're with me, and I vouch for them. Let them pass." The guards grudgingly stepped aside, allowing the siblings to enter the city. Alan recognized the man as Vlad Dracul, leader of the Order of the Dragons, and he wondered why Vlad was helping them. Vlad motioned for them to follow him, and they walked through the gates and into the city. Alan and Maria looked around in amazement at the bustling streets filled with people and carts, the smell of food and spices wafting through the air. They also noticed the castle in the distance belonging to one of the lords who was notorious for his hatred of mages. "That is Aviana Castle, belonging to Lord Earl," Vlad began, his tone cautious. "We'd best stay away from him. He's not known for his kindness to—" He stopped himself mid-sentence, noticing the children's hungry expressions. "You must be famished," he added with a warm smile. Vlad took them to a cozy restaurant, where they sat at a table near the window, pulling out a chair for Maria and Alan, and took a seat across from them. "You must be tired and hungry from your journey," he said, gesturing towards the menu. "Order anything you like. It's on me." Maria looked at Vlad skeptically. "How do we know we can trust you?" Vlad looked at her with a serious expression. "Your mother entrusted me with the task of keeping you safe. I take that responsibility very seriously," Maria spoke up. "But how did you know where to find us?" "I have my ways," Vlad replied cryptically. "Let's just say that I have some powerful friends who keep me informed." Maria narrowed her eyes and asked, "And why are you doing this? Why help us?" Vlad leaned back in his chair and took a deep breath. "I'm a friend of your father. We grew up together, but over time we drifted apart. Until your mother reached out to me, informing me about you two running away, and I promised her that I would protect you." "That's a lie. She can't write. Like I said, I have my ways." "But what about the Order of the Dragons?" Maria asked, fear creeping into her voice. "They're still after us." Maria's fear of the Order of the Dragons stems from their reputation as a group of knights who actively hunt down mages and other magical beings in the kingdom. The dragon emblem, which represents the Order, strikes fear into the hearts of many throughout the 13 kingdoms. The new Pontiff Charlemagne established the Order, and Vlad serves as one of its leaders, further contributing to the fear and suspicion surrounding the organization. Vlad's expression hardened. "I know. That's why I have a plan to keep you safe. I'll arrange for you to stay somewhere secure tonight, and tomorrow I'll take you to your new home." Alan looked up with hope in his eyes. "We have a new home?" Vlad smiled. "Yes, a safe place where you can live without fear. Trust me, I'll take care of everything." Maria and Alan exchanged a glance, silently agreeing to put their trust in Vlad, at least for now. After the kids had stuffed themselves with food, night had fallen. The stars were shining brightly in the sky, and the crescent moon cast a pale, eerie light over the city. The streets were now lit by the glow of lamps and torches, casting flickering shadows on the buildings and the ground. The air was cool and still, with a hint of dampness from the nearby river. Vlad led Maria and Alan out of the cozy restaurant, the click of their shoes echoing against the empty streets. Maria and Alan were in awe of the towering buildings and the colourful signs that hung outside the shops. Occasionally the sound of laughter and chatter could be heard from nearby taverns and inns, but for the most part, the city was quiet. As they turned a corner, a group of people emerged from an alleyway blocking their path. The group was led by a tall man who Vlad recognized as one of the lords of the city. "Well, well, well," Lord Earl drawled, a sneer on his face. "Look who we have, a knight and his blue-eyed little witches." Maria and Alan backed away in fear, but Vlad stepped forward, his hand firmly gripping the hilt of his sword. "I suggest you step aside and let us pass," he said in a low voice. The man just laughed, his eyes flickering toward the sword. "You think you can take us on? You're outnumbered." Vlad's grip tightened on his sword, and the tension between the two groups continued to rise. The man took a step forward, his eyes narrowed. "What business do you have here, knight?" Vlad's jaw tightened. "I have no business with you or your kind." "Then why are you protecting these mages?" the man demanded, gesturing toward Maria and Alan. Vlad stepped forward, his sword now fully drawn. "I am protecting these children because it is my duty as a knight to protect the innocent. Now step aside." The man hesitated for a moment, but then a sinister grin spread across his face as he motioned for his group to attack. The siblings watched in horror as Vlad engaged in battle with the group of civilians who followed the Lord, swords clanging and shouts echoing through the streets. Maria grabbed Alan's hand and pulled him away from the fight, searching for a way to escape. They darted down a nearby alleyway, but their escape was short-lived as they ran into a dead end. The sound of footsteps grew closer, and Maria's heart raced with fear as she realized they were trapped. "Myra, where are we going? What about Vlad?" Alan asked anxiously. "We need to get out of here, Alan. It's not safe," Maria replied, her heart racing as they ran down the dark alleyway. "But what about the new home he promised us?" Alan protested. "I don't know if we can trust him, Alan," Maria said, her voice shaky. "We need to find Blue Haven on our own." "But he helped us and offered us a new home. He also said he protects people. He's a good guy, Maria." Maria paused for a moment, unsure of what to think. Suddenly, a member of the Lord's entourage appeared before them, blocking their path. "There you two are. We don't welcome your kind here," he spat. Maria didn't hesitate. She placed her hands on the ground and a yellow glow appeared in her palms. The man laughed. "What are you doing, magic?" Suddenly, a tree sprouted from the ground underneath the man's feet, its branches wrapping around his body and immobilizing him. The man struggled, but he couldn't break free from the tree's grasp. Alan stared in shock at his sister, his mouth hanging open. "That was so cool. Do it again." "Later, Alan. Now run." As they fled from the town, Maria's eyes scanned the towering walls of the city, desperately searching for any possible escape. Her heart pounding with fear, she saw a weak spot in the wall, a section where the stones appeared looser and more brittle than the rest. Without hesitation, she focused her magical energy, and a bright yellow glow emanated from her hands as she conjured up a tree. The tree rapidly grew and intertwined itself with the wall, its roots cracking the stonework and causing parts of the wall to crumble away, creating a hole just big enough for Maria and Alan to escape through. With one last look back at the city, the two siblings ran through the hole and disappeared into the darkness of the night. The night was dark and chill as Maria and Alan made their way through the woods, the pale moon casting a ghostly light on the surrounding trees. They had been trudging for hours, and exhaustion was starting to wear on them. Maria's mind was consumed with worry for their safety and the unknown perils that lay ahead. Suddenly, they heard the snap of twigs and rustling leaves behind them. Maria's hand glowing with magic, her heart pounding with fear. Alan clung to her arm, his eyes wide with terror. "Who goes there?" Maria demanded, her voice shaking. Out of the shadows stepped a cloaked figure, their face hidden in darkness. Maria braced herself, ready to defend her brother and herself. But then, to their surprise, a spotted white cat emerged from the darkness, its graceful form illuminated by the moonlight. Alan's fear melted away, and he rushed toward the feline, calling out, "Kitty!" "Wait, Alan, we have to stay focused," Maria reminded him, hurrying after him. As the cat vanished into the forest, the siblings pressed on towards Blue Haven, unsure of what perils they might encounter on their journey. As Maria and Alan continue their journey in search of Blue Haven, we are left with questions about their future. What dangers lie ahead for these young mages, and what was the outcome of Vlad's battle? Only time will tell, and we eagerly await the next chapter of their journey.